I'm so sorry for the tardiness. We will call this meeting to order. If you'll please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Okay, now we need to officially swear in our elected official, Mr. Timothy Shaw. You want to stand and do the deal? So I, Timothy Shaw, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution and laws of the State of Oregon, and the policies of Glide School District. During my term, I will faithfully and impartially discharge the responsibilities. I will faithfully and impartially discharge the responsibilities of the office to the best of my ability. All right, thank you. Okay, Mr. Freeman.
Yeah, well, we have a lot of changes to the agenda tonight. Before I do that, I do want to thank everyone for attending tonight. I think the highlight of tonight is going to be the video, and we have some stars of that video here in the audience. So I would like to add to the top of the agenda our Bobcat Leadership Retreat group, and that is going to be presented by our elementary school house leaders. And then next on the agenda, I would like to add a summer school recap, and that's going to be presented by Principal Beard. And then under action items and discussion items, number 2, we need to look at a personal electronic device policy. And I'll present that along with our principals. And then I also need to add for an action item, a boys soccer cooperative sponsorship agreement, and I'll talk more about that when we get there.
Okay, thank you.
And I believe that's it.
Okay, then I think we're going over the Bobcat Leadership Retreat.
Good evening. I'm Olivia Adele from the House of Solowari. Thank you for having us here tonight. I would like to introduce you to Austin McCauley, one of the student house leaders of the House of River. He will be joining me this year as my co-student board reporter. At the end of the year, we added several new student house leaders to our growing program, and we would like to introduce them to you tonight. From Solowari, student leaders Aubrey Roderick and Alex Van Bachelor, and our staff head of house is Mrs. Gibb. From Altruismo, student leaders Araya Ring, Paige Dietz, and Ezra Rincon, and our staff head of house is Mr. Odell. From Isabindi, student leaders Ava McCauley, Sonora Scarborough, and Addison Olson, and our staff head of house is Mrs. Weber. From Umbraka, student leaders Jace Fields, Lily Brown, and Daphne Strain, and our staff head of house is Mrs. Kim.
From River, student leaders Harper Furlong and Alice Kircher, and our staff head of house is Mrs. Spurling. From Protos, the student leaders Lauren Groff, Hayden Card, and Dexter Stevens, and our staff head of house is Mrs. Fitzpatrick. From Amistad, student leaders Angus McCauley and Violet Southey, and our staff head of house is Mrs. Ray. From Nukamori, student leaders Micah Jenkins, Larkin Corva, and Allie Clement, and our staff head of house is Miss Bronson.
On August 13th, 50 students, staff, and parents took off for our first student and staff head of house retreat. The first stop was Hillgate's Jet Boats, where we took an excursion on the Rogue River, traveling 36 miles round trip, and Mr. Freeman joined us for our jet boat ride. He definitely understood the boat captain's assignment. He successfully helped the captain get us super wet on our way back from the brunch we enjoyed together. The boat captain let us know that we were the absolute best elementary group that he has had all summer, and he would be glad to take us on the river anytime.
After our jet boat trip, 23 student leaders, 8 adult heads of house, Mr. Freeman, and 4 amazing parent volunteers traveled with us to the Cascade Mountain Lodge. Outside of Grants Pass, we stayed for 2 nights during our stay. We got to know each other through team building activities, public speaking opportunities, and time spent bonding. It was great to see our house team come together. Many of us didn't know each other well prior to the trip. We all got to know each other well, and we all left as friends.
Our adult head of houses planned some fun and exciting team building activities to include an escape room where we found Mrs. Beard is very competitive, and a no-hand solo cup stacking competition, an art project, and a blindfolded drawing competition. These activities were a fun way for all of us to work together and learn each other's strengths.
We would like to give a huge shout out to our amazing parent volunteers who prepared delicious meals for us. Mr. Macaulay, Mrs. Ring, Mrs. Brown, and Mrs. Furlong. Our retreat would not have been a success without them. In addition to supporting us at the retreat, many of these parents and more helped us put on our 2nd annual student leadership car wash. This was a huge success with a ton of community support. We want to thank Fire Chief Ted Damewood for his continued support of our district.
Austin and I are looking forward to sharing all great things happening at Glide Elementary with you throughout the year. See you next month.
All right, if I can interject here real quick. Thanks, Olivia, for throwing me under the bus there. First of all, my bosses, that was really a hard day of work right there. Just want to let you guys know that. So shout out to Tammy and Brian Odell for their efforts in putting this together. Absolute amazing experience for our kids. We got so many great compliments, like you heard from the boat driver. We ended up getting there early, so we stopped at the original Dutch Brothers and got a huge compliment from the people in there. Everywhere we went, they recognized how awesome these kids were. So shout out there. Okay, now it's about me. So when we stopped for our brunch, the dockhand asked me if I wanted to know how to really get the boat wet. And I said, well, of course I do. And so he taught me a little technique. He said, when you're in a spin, you need to do this. All right. And so the two girls sitting behind me, the first one was where they slow down and the water comes over the top. You saw that in the video. And I got wet, and they were just giggling. Oh, Mr. Freeman got wet. So the next one was a spin. And I stuck my hand out, like he said, to do that. And it works. What he didn't tell me is how wet I was going to get. But those two girls behind me were literally drenched, soaking. Let me clarify one more thing. It was 100 degrees, and it was fun getting wet. They had these grins on their face, and they loved it, and they wanted more. But from that point on, they made it their mission to see how wet they could get Mr. Freeman by the end of this boat trip. And they succeeded. I was a drowned rat by the time I was done, and they just had the biggest smiles on their face when they left the boat. Great experience. The whole trip was wonderful. You heard shout outs to our parent volunteers. Could not have done that without them. It was absolutely wonderful. The one thing you haven't heard is that there was 4 or 5 people that went on our trip back to RCA in Atlanta last summer and that were on this trip, and they said this trip was far and above better than the trip back to Atlanta.
Wow.
So again, kudos to this team.
That's amazing. Love it. I'm jealous. Yeah. Okay. So I would entertain a motion to approve the revised consent agenda as presented. Oh, I'm sorry. No. Come up with, yours is more exciting. For sure.
Well, I wanted to add one thing that
My apologies.
we were able to reserve that whole boat, which was awesome, and we ended up with 2 extra tickets, and we were able to confirm 2 students. We worked so hard during
That's awesome.
summer. Hey, and one of them said, "Hey, if you need me to hold your purse tomorrow, I'll go with you." And then we found out we had 2 extra tickets, and I was like, "Hey, how about you coming home in person?" So they were super happy, and it was just great to see our kiddos interacting with it.
I love it.
So he was a bad man. Yes, it was very wet right back. So it was great, but this was very hot. So, in the 11th hour of the school year, we received that summer school grant that we had to hurry up and fast turn around, and we were able to do that and get everything in on time. And our Mrs. Sprague, the last several years, has been our summer school head of, and she just got right with her team. It's just phenomenal in getting that facilitated. So this year, their theme was full steam ahead. They had 4 teachers and 2 IAs, and then we also had our ESY program happening at the same time that supports our students with big needs. So we also had 2 high school students who partnered with us and volunteered so much of their time doing that. So along with part of the grant requirements for to participate with community partners. So we had Mercy Foundation, Thrive, and then also OSU Extension Office. So they just explored all of the STEAM things. So they based their learning on the 4 elements. One week when they did water, they come down to Whistlers and they got to play, explore rocks, but then they also went down and put their feet in the river and painted. Just had a great time. Thrive brought their pedestrian safety in their bike course. So our K2 students focused on pedestrian safety, and 3 through 6 they got to brush up on their bike. because some of our kids didn't know how to ride their bike, so they learned how to ride a bike. And then at the end of that unit, they took around the loop. So, see, this is all the fun stuff in addition to, it's all just super organized, super wonderful. Ashton Olsen from Barefoot Dance came in and did some dance lessons, which we've done last several years if you want to. And so she came to our water unit in our academy. The dances were great. That staff who I want to tell you is Nikki Sprague, Sandra Wright, Mackenzie Fitzpatrick, Shelby Warren, Lucas Cooper, Sarah Pinch, Melissa Potter, Cody Munoz, Keith Frost, Sarah Murphy, and Diane Seifel. And then also our high school volunteers. Well, one was a volunteer, Sydney Sprague, and then Williams Snodgrass. Those guys stayed up the whole month of July and just put together a fantastic program for our kids. Thank you to food service for putting on our meals. We had breakfast and lunch, and that was a combination of Miss Winks and Miss Wynn, and I don't remember. I thought it was Mrs. Gross. Anyways, and then transportation, of course, for kids. To and from school. These guys are already talking about this summer. I think it was. So, anyways, it was fun.
Awesome.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, back at the fun stuff of approving consent agenda. So I would entertain a motion to approve the revised consent agenda as presented. Okay, any discussion? I'm going to have it. I do have it. Oh, okay. Sorry. Okay, so, all those in favor? Aye. Motion passes. Okay, and then, do we have any, no public participation? Okay. And, moving on to action items. So I would entertain a motion to approve the 2025 All District Parent Student Handbook as presented.
I move to approve the 2025 All District Parent Student Handbook as presented.
I'll second that.
Any discussion?
I was going to jump in first.
Great.
But I think I can anticipate something Jenna wants to say. So first of all, I want to give a shout out to Director Holland. She spent time and went through the whole document, I believe, and found some errors in there. We did make the changes on there that you had suggested. So I want to make sure you know that before you approve it. This handbook was long overdue going through it, and that's why I felt like it was pertinent that we bring it to your level to make sure you're aware of what we were putting out in front of parents and students. I want to give a shout out to Principal Dwight and Principal Beard for spending the time to thoroughly going through there. Carrie spent hours making sure our policies matched what was in the handbook and aligned, and just really appreciate his effort on that. So they are here to answer your questions if you have direct questions about the handbook, but that's why, if you don't remember seeing the handbook in front of you in previous years, that's why. We made sure it was up to date according to the new policies, and we wanted to make sure you had your eyes on it.
Some of it I think makes sense about the rules.
I'm learning that recommendations, I don't know if they have things that have Oh, I just thought I don't know if you've notified this, but it might be nice to just us think about updates and things like that. I just think on this,
I think that some of the efforts that we were from, the parents are gonna get involved in, you know, I didn't get through the whole document. But I think that you carry on, some things not quite changed. When the public looks at it,
I presume that this is essentially a living document.
It is a living document. Yeah, I was going to say that.
I'm sorry, am I stealing your
No,
thunder?
I wasn't. Then I decided not to say it, but thank you for saying that. Yeah, it'll change as we adopt new policies or if we have new procedures that are being put in place in the buildings, it'll change.
But it almost has to do with the policies and such that come from various sources.
I'm sorry, I want to say one thing. So I did talk to both principals about Director Holland's concern about putting in front of parents, and both of them identified groups that they work with to make sure they get eyes on that.
Yeah, I have another question. In distribution or is how are the students going to be exposed to it? Is it here, read this? Does you know where that'll go? Or how is that going to be? And I understand that that's going to be a different thing for elementary versus secondary. Sign off on, meaning that they're signing off that they read it.
A little different in elementary.
So you're saying, yeah, did I hear? Sorry, my hearing's not great. That's not you. Yeah, with this kid. So
it sounds like maybe parents and students both sign and acknowledge that, yeah, no?
I think it's something worth reviewing because we know how much this stuff gets, I'll say, pencil whipped. You put a lot of work into it for one. I mean, that's enough to read it. Everybody ought to read it. But what it stands for is, I guess the tree I'm barking up is, I want to make sure that the students understand it. Because this also discusses repercussions if they break the rules. And let's face it, people are lazy. We're innately that way. And I'm not knocking anybody or anything, that's just the truth of it. And I almost, when it says suggest parents that take Tammy's lead there and have teachers go over it with the student. Okay.
They
Well,
do. He just didn't say
if
that.
I didn't clarify that earlier, that's what yay, I'm done. Thanks, that's what I was looking for. I wanted to make sure that it was, they are truly exposed to it. So, thank you for your efforts in that, and thank you both for going over with the students with that, because I think that's going to help make the atmosphere of life better.
Can I interrupt for just a moment? So we are having some Zoom outages outside of our control. Let me back up. Yeah, and so, yeah, and Dan is in and out. He said it's very quiet, so if we just make sure we speak into the mics as much as possible.
Yes, I've been on the other end of that as Robert, and you have to really be like on top of my phone just like this, or nobody can see me.
Gotta use the mic.
Yeah. Okay. So, any more discussion on handbook? All those in favor of passing the handbook as presented?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. And we're going to move on to the personal electronic device policy.
All right, so it's really important for you to hear my first part of this introduction. This executive order that was issued by our governor minimally impacts our organization. The only thing that this impacts is lunchtime at the middle school and high school. So please keep that in mind. I don't like blanket rules. I don't like somebody telling us what we can do and what we can't do. But in the greater scheme of things, we're already doing a lot of the things that were in that mandate. At the elementary, they're going to see no difference. At the high school, middle school, it will impact students at lunchtime. All right, so having said that, I met with my leadership team, and we did have an option of waiting till January to implement any policy. Make sure we had a policy in place by October, and then we had to implement it by January 1st. Their concern with that is starting the school year under one set of rules and then finishing the school year on another set of rules. That's why I'm asking you to, and I'll go through how we came up with this, but that's why we're asking the board to approve the policy on the first reading, so they can get it in the handbooks, up to staff. We are asking staff to model for our students. That'll probably be a bigger change than the students, to be honest with you. But that's why we're asking you to approve that on first reading. Okay, having said that, OSBA did come out with a sample draft of the communication policy. And I just tipped my hat there a little bit. I am not a blanket rule person. I think you punish the people who do follow the rules by having blanket rules for everybody. So we have chose in our first iteration of this draft and this policy to try to go as lenient as possible and put as much responsibility back into the students. And then for those students who can't accept that responsibility, then we'll work individually with them instead of making a blanket rule for everyone to follow. So in front of you is work that the principals went through. We did get other eyes on this, and where we could, we made it as lenient as possible. So an example of that is we have the option of confiscating cell phones and putting them in a locker when students arrive on campus, or asking the students to keep them out of sight and in a secure place, whether it's in their backpack or in their locker. And we chose to do that, again, with the students back that responsibility. All right, so do either one of you want to jump in on that, or is that set it up pretty good? Okay. I guess I should have waited to ask for a motion before I said all of that, sorry.
Oh, no, it's all good. I would entertain a motion to adopt the personal electronic device policy as presented
On first
on first reading.
I move to adopt the personal electronic device policy as presented on first reading.
I'll second.
Okay, any discussion?
I really, yeah, I appreciate this means all the partaking in this and just looked at some of them that I think could be expelled and like that seems like a lot. So thank you for taking that ground today. I need to back on the student. Before I'm going to notice that how much the parents are going to be getting from this. But that will go over the life. So the implementation.
I also just want to say, like Janet, I love the steps of how you will handle it if somebody violates the policy, and I thought that was pretty amazing, actually. Like you said, not this blanket rule, but just kind of, like, it's pretty lenient all the way down, and then if it's still a problem, just kind of working individually. So I was pretty impressed by that. I think that it's a struggle when powers above say, like, it's got to be this, and you don't, there's no, like, local autonomy in how things should go, but I get the premise behind it, and I think that also implementing it now is the best way to go. And yeah, there'll probably be some bumps in the beginning, but I'm sure it'll smooth out.
Absolutely, it'll be a work in progress. We're going to learn as we go. I really appreciate you guys recognizing the efforts that we're making, because I know I talk a lot about how culture has changed in the Glide School District, and that's a perfect example. Our policy is not a, we got you and we're going to nail you. It's like, we got you. Here's the rules we have to live by. How can we help you? And as you can see, we do include parents in that process too, if it gets to that stage. So thank you for recognizing that.
I find it sad that we have to do this at all, but again, kind of reiterate what Janet and Tracy said. I think this is a fantastic outcome, a chance for the students to grow, which we're all about, in accountability and responsibility. They need safe places to understand that, and I think we're doing it, and this is a great example of that. And I think if there's really too much pushback, I won't say any, I don't know what word I want to use, but some pushback on that. I think one thing is to show what some of the other schools are doing. Janet brought up, and it's like, people, you've got it easy here, you know, so don't blow it.
We'll remind them that we're the cool district.
Right.
So my comment to
great
that,
job.
Director Shaw, thank you for recognizing that, is it's okay for families to disagree and to push back, as long as they do it with civil discourse. It's when they cross that line, then we'll deal with that, not necessarily this policy or force that. But, yeah, I think I've even said I struggle with someone up above that has no ties to our organization telling us how to operate. But that's the world we live in right now, and so we're going to do the best we can.
Okay, any more discussion? Dan, John, anybody?
I'm good.
Okay. All those in favor of passing the personal electronic device policy as presented? Aye.
Aye.
All right, motion passes unanimously. All right, and then we've got the boys soccer cooperative sponsorship agreement.
Yep, so this one's a little, not very positive, a little discouraged by this, but I do want to give a shout out to our athletic director and our principal, Dwight. We went down every possible path that we could to keep our program, and we recognize that when you end a program, that it's hard to rebuild that. So I just want you to know we tried everything possible. this point, I think I want to turn it over to Principal Dwight to go over this handout that he has for you. And it really explains the process, how we got here.
Directly into the,
Directly into the
yeah, you can
mic,
pick it up.
so Dan can.
That's right.
All right, so I tried to type up kind of just a quick outline for you guys on co-ops. Essentially, the OSAA, Open School Activity Association, basically developed this for small schools so that students can participate. Kids can do that. Last year we did our forecasting, and as you guys know, small schools like athletes like ebb and flow programs. I'm told like a few years ago with football we had barely 20 kids, and now we're up 40 plus. Unfortunately, when we did our spring forecasting, we had about 14 kids signed up for soccer. 3 of them decided to play football as upperclassmen. 1 had to have some surgery, and 1 transferred to Roseburg. 2 we haven't heard from, and 3 of them are kind of home. So the best way for us to kind of move forward is to co-op with UBC. They're short on, not necessarily short on numbers, but thin on numbers, and they'll take our kids that once again. And I think we'll have probably 3.
I'm just, now they'll stay in the 2A, 3A,
Yep.
it doesn't matter.
So that, yep, that special district is 1A, 2A, 3A, so. I think we're District 3, so Coquille and Little Point have a co-op, Bandon and Pacific have a co-op for the soccer.
And our parents.
Yes.
Where are they practicing there, here?
They'll practice, so our kids will go to them for practice. I think they practice at Pergrove. The parents of I think there's 2 kids for sure that are going to play, possibly a 3rd one, are on board with their kids getting in there, getting to UBC to catch the bus to go wherever kids go.
Okay.
So really the OSAA, like, chief executive officer just needs like board approval, like just to know that board should approve that superintendent Freeman will sign up on it. And then there's superintendent board for sure will sign up on it.
So,
I move to approve OSAA Cooperative Sponsorship Agreement with Kansas Valley Christian School as presented.
I'll continue to second page.
and any further discussion? I know we kind of just had it. I think it's, I mean, any way we can provide for our kids to be able to still play. That's, yeah, that would be great.
I got you, I beat you, Tim. That is one thing I'm
I beat you,
curious
Director Shaw.
on. Is this like a yearly thing?
Yes.
It doesn't carry on, it's a 1-year deal. It doesn't
Okay.
say that. If this would have to be approved yearly, okay.
And I will tell you that Athletic Director Smith is already in contact with Clyde Rec and coaches there. And they are going to work at continuing to build the interest around the soccer program. We've been told that there is a large group of younger kids that participate in youth soccer, and so the kids are coming. So I hope the best case scenario is this is a 1-year request from the
The bigger question, do we have, what kind of financial or insurance obligation with this agreement?
I don't know on insurance. I'll have to research that. But as far as financial obligations, I don't believe we have any. We are not agreeing to co-pay for their program. I know at one time we had mentioned that we just hired a soccer coach, and that our soccer coach could be an assistant for UBC, but they notified us that they're staffed fully, and that they would just want their coaches to coach.
If you would, I would ask that you check into the insurance if there's any obligations there, or how that's gonna work if one of our students gets injured.
You want to know if we have like a rider or something that protects our kids.
Right, you know, is this, cooperative? How cooperative is, you know, I kind of look at it as a limited liability corporation,
Yeah.
kind of, so, sorry, it's kind of where my mind goes.
Okay.
So, and I
I can look
just
into
want
that.
our kids taken care of, that's my
I
goal.
really appreciate
And
that.
I'm not thwarting, I'm not saying that we shouldn't vote on this. Yeah.
Do you have a response on that? I don't know. I would assume that our kids are covered even still through us.
Okay.
And then I think if there was any liability that occurred on UVC's part, I would think they assume that liability. But I'll find out for sure.
Right.
In this past week, my kids played baseball, so,
Well, and we've had them on our football team.
and football, so there's, yeah.
I'm not aware of anything that we've sent to UVC to initially do that. So, and I know schools do it. Principal Dwight said, even in the soccer league, there's 2 other schools that are combined. So,
Yeah, it's a tough question, but I don't want to be an ostrich sitting over there.
I appreciate looking out for our kids and our families, so I will look into that.
Thank you.
Okay, any further discussion?
I just want to add, hey, thanks for looking for more opportunities for our kids. So, thank you.
Okay, then all those in favor of adopting the OSAA Cooperative Sponsorship Agreement with UVC School as presented? Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Okay. Superintendent report.
Yeah, I got a couple things for you, and I'd like to continue the format that I did last meeting where I'll talk about a situation or an event, and then I'll pause and give you the opportunity to ask any follow-up questions. Okay, so I was asked, and I think that'll probably come up when we go into our executive session about my evaluation, to be clear on events and how they tie into our strategic plan. So I do want to backtrack a little bit, and on both our Bobcat Leadership Retreat and our summer school, both of those fit underneath our vision of empowering every student to excel academically, socially, and emotionally, preparing them to become responsible global citizens and lifelong learners. And also fits under the focus area number 2 of student engagement, provide an environment that motivates and challenges all students K-12 to participate in school activities that prepare students to achieve life goals. We saw that in action. The first thing I want to talk about is our all-school registration that happens, is that just yesterday? Yeah, time flies when you're having fun. Great event. It's really it's a social way to kick the school year off. We have families, parents, guardians, students. Our staff is here. We get asked how they do during what they've done during the summer. Just start building that relationship. And of course, that falls under our focus area number 3 of a welcoming and inclusive district culture. And so yeah, any questions about all district registration?
I am curious, with Phoenix shutting down, did we have influx or students at Phoenix?
And I know it's not directly related to Phoenix, but Liz Olson from the elementary was in today at the district office, and she was talking about how many more students they have this year than they've had in the past. So not quite up to pre-COVID numbers, but we're getting close to that.
I was kind of curious.
No, what I just talked about there was enrollment numbers, because Director Bundy had talked about if we gained any students from Phoenix. And I don't know at the elementary we wouldn't have gained them from Phoenix, but I do know that Liz had said that our numbers are up at the elementary school. So Director Quimby, I'd like to give you an official student enrollment in our September meeting, because then we'll know for sure who actually showed up. Right now, they're just on the books. Because we roll our families over who were here last year, and some of them might have left, and new families may not have known to register now. So.
You shouldn't ask questions if you don't want.
I know, well, no, I appreciate the question. Just don't have a good answer for you. Okay, second thing I want to talk about is our FFA students and the fair. We had an outstanding fair this year. Kids sold, let me see if I can get this right. They sold beef, hogs, they sold sheep at the Fat Lamb Show, but at the fair they showed market goats. And I thought that was interesting. And the price of a goat will blow you away. It's unbelievable. But I want to give a shout out to our two FFA advisors. It's a lot of time and a lot of effort, not only preparing for the fair, but just then the long days and emotional strain of being at the fair. They did a wonderful job. Our kids had a great experience. We had 4 top showmen in different categories, and I'll have a better record for you on how all our kids did for our September meeting, but I do know that one of those 4 ended up winning the grand champion showman. And that was Aubrey Murphy.
Nice.
So she was first out, right? She won it in sheep, showmanship in sheep or goats. But then they do around, so all the top showmen in their breed categories, they compete against the other top showmen in their breed categories. And that's for supreme showmanship. And they call that the round robin, and they do that on Saturday. And so, like I said, we had 4 kids that competed in that, and probably won. And I believe, was your box second? Yes. So I'll get exactly all that stuff to you.
Yeah.
My message tonight is that I wanted you to know that FFA has been a topic at this level, but we had a lot of success at the fair this year. And that's a direct result of our advisors and the effort that they put in.
I'm very happy. Yes,
I saw Derek today and he was headed there, yes.
that is so cool.
That fits under our focus area 2, student engagement. The next thing I want to report on is at our last meeting, I had talked to you about the federal funds and the title programs were frozen at that time. They have been released and we have received those funds. And so, yes, exactly. And so we do plan on going forward with the events that those were earmarked to pay. I wasn't quite sure what focus area that fit under, so.
I think it's under, yay.
The last thing I want to talk about, and I don't want it to be last because it's super important. I hope you noticed when you came on campus today how wonderful our facilities look. I want to give a shout out to our maintenance group that's headed by Brent Harvey. We have an incredible staff. If something's broke or if something needs attention, they generally spot it before our principals do, but if our principals spot it, they tell Mr. Harvey and it gets done. And we've had a lot of stuff happen this summer. So if you get a chance, maybe drive around the back way of campus and just kind of have that lens on. So I want to give a shout out to our maintenance group, and I also want to give a shout out to our custodial group. Spent hours making sure that our facilities are ready to go to be presentable to parents last night and students and staff coming up. So I also want to invite you, we are going to actually officially recognize them. That group is, they would be embarrassed if they came to a meeting and I paraded them in front of you, but we did invite them for a dessert at the district office and we're going to recognize them. And you all are welcome to join us, and that's Monday at noon.
Nice.
You'll even get a dessert out of it if you show up. And with that, Madam Chair, I am done.
Thank you. And thank you, Brent and team. I see you back there. Okay, I guess we don't have Carolyn.
Carolyn, I should have said that earlier. Please excuse Carolyn. She had a family event to attend to tonight.
Oh.
And I know when you hired me, you heard from me that family is very important, and you all agreed to that. So she asked to be excused tonight, and I approved that.
Okay, individual board member updates or reports. Dan? Does that mean updates? I'm kind of curious on the whole ODOT debacle, and that was talked about at Rural Caucus with the conference, so we're curious.
Yeah, can you hear me all right?
Yes.
I can speak to it a bit. So no change as of today. The legislature is going to meet in special session on the 29th, discuss potential funding package. The funding package is going to be enough if it's complete to prevent layoffs. That doesn't restore service. So that's, there's two different things. We've already had multiple rounds of cuts. So hopefully legislature puts some cash into the system as well as whatever they pass. So there's going to be some challenges this winter, whether it passes or not. But we will know for sure at the next meeting where we stand.
Okay, thank you. Any other personal reports?
Just to back up the maintenance folks, it's super cool that we did our own floors and stuff. I don't know if you've been around, but it's just cool that we're taking those things on, and it turns out so great. So just kudos to the maintenance staff who's worked this summer to take on extra projects and get stuff looking great.
It's too bad you're not here. The floor's out here in this building, aren't they?
Yeah, I saw them last week. Yeah, so they're really neat. Oh, and also thank you for having my truck washed, Tammy. I appreciate that. They did a great job. So that was a great fundraiser. If you didn't see it, there were a lot of kids working hard. It was awesome. So.
That's great.
Thanks. Thank you, Robert, for tying in the strategic plan. We talked about this to that document, and we really want to bring it together into our meetings, and so for doing that, make this school year for us to push that with the community and also just to shout out for all class union. Yes. All of us got to go to that. It was a lot of fun. Also, I would just say that I talked to her like, wow, look at the school. They did an excellent job in the presentation and welcoming everybody. So in terms of that inclusive environment, it was like, I heard so much from people. And several people haven't been back. Like, they haven't been back in years. And they're like, this is the first time that I've got into the program because of that. Like one in particular, that was a teacher. So it was like, wow, you know, it's a totally different vibe.
I started in kind of late, I'll be next
Me? Just a couple of things, it's really reiteration. It struck me, you know, what is being done with the elementary and leadership building with the students there is absolutely amazing. makes me want to go back to elementary school, which I thought I'd never really say. But it's like, I didn't get to do anything like that. And just the, I can't believe that that isn't a super positive thing for those kids, and you're never gonna forget it. So, especially seeing Robert get totally hosed with water. I want to say thanks again for the efforts into the student handbooks. That was a monumental task. And also for the personal electronic device policy, your approach to that is, I will speak nothing but accolades about that, because I was really sweating that this is just going to be a fight, and I think you just took the fight out of it. So, awesome job. And lastly, what you did for the soccer team and getting, that cooperative thing going, that's, as far as I'm concerned, above and beyond. Because I know there's too many places like, well, we don't have enough people, we're done. And so that's thinking outside the box and thinking about the students first, and I can't say enough how great that is. So, thank you.
Well, I personally thank all the school districts in for the money, all class. I don't know if age or whatever. I don't know. I find out. I would like to have include students. I think the phone deal, I mean, I think that, I kind of think it's a good deal to have backup. I can't say I am a fan. But I think maybe the most difficult thing in school is there's a lot to say about it, but the state faculty is going to help us.
Thank you. I too hope everybody had a great summer. I'm super excited for the new school year. Let's see, my update. I went to the OSBA summer conference and hosted our Rural Caucus meeting, and I stood up and had something to say about the ODOT cuts and what were we going to do and how is that impacting. Everybody was raising their hands. So, no, we have more rural districts, school districts in Oregon than the bigger ones. So, a majority of our school districts are rural. So, it's really impacting everyone. So, the rural district put forward a letter to the governor about, and I can provide a copy if you don't want to see it, of kind of what we're expecting in the funding that we would need, acknowledgement of the vast distances that we drive and how upkeep of those areas is essential. So fingers crossed. Also, so our president of the Rural Caucus has decided to take a seat as one of the board members on the OSBA. And so I am probably stepping in as the president of the Rural Caucus. Which also includes me on the LPC still, which is legislative policy committee, but then also on the OSBA meeting. So, a little bit more work, but it's okay. So that's my update for now, and keep you posted, and I can, if anybody's interested, provide the letter that we sent to the governor. Thank you. Oh, and I do get to go on a retreat with that to Timberline Rock. So, might be kind of cool. Okay, so I conclude this meeting. Thank you, everybody, for coming. And now the school board will meet in executive session, and it will be held pursuant to ORS 192.6602I to review and evaluate the performance of the superintendent, as well as ORS 192.6602E to conduct deliberations to negotiate real property transactions. So, bye. And we will reconvene afterwards and let everyone know when we're going back into regular session.
Is a bindi, right, and I have a key.
Now I've got audio. We're good.
I'm just going to do this. Well, first I'll do this, and I'll do this. Okay. So, welcome to the continuation of the board meeting. And so, I would entertain a motion to accept the projected calendar for the superintendent evaluation set to occur through executive sessions scheduled for September, December, and February being the formal one, for the 2025-26 academic calendar year.
To make it simple, I make a motion to, as stated. Presented, yes.
I'll second. Any further discussion? Any discussion on that? Okay, all those in favor of accepting the presented calendar? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion passes. And then I would like to say that normally we do not recap executive sessions, but because some folks have stayed for the meeting as we came back into regular meeting, that the board would like to say that 5 years ago, the Glide School District and Glide Revitalization entered into a lease agreement. And at that time, the district supported the community by entering into this agreement. The board is proud of its commitment and plans to fulfill the tenets within the agreement. And on that note, I thank everyone for coming to the meeting and those of you that stuck around to come back to the meeting. And have a great night. Thank you.